Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Christina and we're back for another Earth Magic card for the collective. So welcome to Sunday and to another reading. It is a beautiful weekend here in Squamish, BC. The sun is out. Spring is in the air. That's why I'm singing. Because I'm happy. Okay. So the card for this week is this random card I just picked. Yes. Oh yes. Okay, this is such a beautiful card. Clouds, shape-shifting. Okay, 2 points come up for this. First point is I've been looking at this point of like, you know, just expanding on this oneness point in terms of everything in physical matter is actually made up of the same thing, and it's actually coming all from the same thing. So it's like that point of we're all just one thing, each taking on its own expression in form, its own manifestation, and yeah, just it's like just that point of like, oh right, okay, so we're all the same thing. There's actually just this oneness to everything, and so in that everything is of equal value because everything's one thing, right? So it's just like this beautiful oneness that we are. So I'm the same as you, I'm the same as the camera, I'm the same as this card, like I'm the same as the painting, I'm the same as the house, I'm the same as the clouds. Like it's all actually made up of the same thing. And coming from the same source. It's just expressing differently and different densities of itself, you know? Anyway, so it's like that is such a cool point. But it's that point of the eternalness of life. That nothing actually is created or destroyed. It just transforms. It just shapeshifts. It just moves form. So it's that point here of when facing change, when facing a disruption in your life, when people come into your life or people leave from your life or some big event happens or some world event is taking place, it's like there's this thing that's happening that's disrupting our reality, when in truth it's just this point of there's transformation happening, there's change happening, there's a shape-shifting happening, and it's actually really cool because you know that like that's life. Life is constant change. It is constant transformation. We are never the same. We are new actually in every moment. That as a whole point I can make another video perhaps, but like it's that point of like, you know, we're transforming. Our whole life is one big transformation. We start as little babies, we move into being kids, and then teenagers, and then young adult, and then, you know, like that's what life is. Life is this constant transformation. So it's like this point of, are we resisting change? Are we resisting things moving? Are we resisting something new coming in or something old leaving? You know, it's this point of like, is there any resistance to what is going on in yourself, in your life, and in the world as a whole? Because if there's resistance, you're resisting the essence of what life really is, which is movement, which is change, which is transformation, which is shape-shifting, you know? And so yeah, it's just that point of, is there any resistance that's happening to you? I feel like there's not much to say on this. It's pretty clear, straightforward point. You know, there is a way you can look at change to be a beautiful thing that actually supports you. And it's that point of understanding that nothing is created or destroyed. Nothing's gone forever. Nothing's gone forever. Nothing's gone forever. Everything is always here. It just changes form. And so it's that point of like not having attachments, not needing to grasp onto anything. I think this is actually the real point. It's like being able to walk in life with open hands, not needing to grab onto anything, not needing to cling to anything, not needing to be attached to anything. It's that point of knowing that like what life truly is this constant process of change and transformation and evolution and, you know, metamorphosis, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just this constant changing of and as itself. And so it's like that point of not being attached or defined by any one particular thing, because you know it's going to change. And even in like that point of, yeah, there's things that seem constant, like a tree is like this constant, steady, sturdy thing that doesn't seem to change a lot. But in the grand scheme of things, it changes quickly. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we might have trees that have been here thousands of years, but in the span of the universe, that's just like a snap of a finger. You know what I mean? So it's just that point of like knowing that change is inevitable. Change is who we are. And if you're resisting change, then it's like you're resisting your own transformation, your own like change, you know? And yeah, so it's just that point of like not clinging to anything, not defining yourself according to anything, because change can happen in a moment. It can happen like that, and it does. And so it's just like being willing to allow life to be what it truly is, which is an ever-evolving transformation. Which is like also to say an ever-evolving expression of itself. It's like always expressing itself in some way, you know? So it's just like allowing life to be the expression of transformation it is. Like clouds. Like the way clouds move. Okay, so this does lead me into the next point. Clouds, oh, you know, when you were a kid and you would go look up at clouds and you would see different shapes. I've been doing this more lately, and it's been amazing, and this is the point that I wanted to share for like a practical activity to reconnect with our innocence and our purity and our fun and our play, is to look at the clouds and watch the clouds. And what do you see in the clouds? What are the shapes you see in the clouds? What are the animals you see in the clouds? Do you see faces in the clouds? Like what is it? What's the figures and shapes and structure that you see in the clouds? And watch how it changes right before your eyes. As you watch it, it moves and it changes, and all of a sudden you see something new. And it's like amazing, because it's the same thing, but it's transforming. It's like, wow, okay, clouds are actually such a cool example of what life is. Right before your eyes, it is moving and transforming, and it's made up of the same thing. You can see it's the same white pillowy thing in the air, you know, but it's actually moving and changing right before your very eyes. And so that's such a cool point. It's like aligning to that real essence of life, of that constant change, constant transformation. I feel like there's not much for me to say about that. It's pretty straightforward, which I think I already said that also. So I encourage you to look at some clouds this week. Go outside, lay down on the ground if you can, if it's warm enough, and stare up at the clouds and give yourself permission to be that little kid, just looking at the beautiful, miraculous manifestation of clouds, and watch it, you know, move and dance right before your eyes, and immerse yourself in that moment of just being free to lay on the ground and to watch the clouds move and to see what you see. Because in seeing what you're seeing, you know, it's like that point of looking at an ink blot. It's like everyone sees something specific to them. You can gauge at where you're at and how you're feeling, and are you feeling more low? Are you feeling more free and clear? Because what you see will kind of indicate where you're at. And so it's a cool reference point for where you're at, and also just a supportive activity to like ground yourself, get yourself in your body, let go of any stressors you're holding on to for the week, like letting go and like reconnecting again to that like innocence, childlike, playful experience of you. It's like we all did this stuff as kids, and you remember it, I remember it. It's like that was truly the best time of our lives, because we had no responsibilities, we had no fear, we had no worries or stress or burdens on our backs. We just had, you know, the moment and the beautiful, you know, life that surrounded us, and we engaged and we immersed ourselves in it. So I encourage you to immerse yourself through the clouds, you know. That's so cool. Thank you, clouds. Okay, let's read the book. Okay, so the book definition is: when tiny droplets of water or frozen crystals are surrounded by billions of other droplets or crystals, a cloud is formed. Each of these tiny droplets diffuse and scatter light so that the tops of clouds are white, then fade to gray towards the base. The nature of cloud formations affects our mood as well as the temperature on the ground and in the air. Their shape, movement, and coloration tells us what weather to expect in the near future, and they nourish our visual hunger during breathtaking sunrises and sunsets. Most of us have had an opportunity at one time or another to notice the shapes and forms clouds take as they drift gently or boldly across the sky, constantly shifting and changing, adjusting themselves to the requirements of their nature. When we take time to simply observe, we can see the cloud people, images that are an elegant collaboration between nature and our imagination. In both subtle and more dramatic ways, you can shapeshift by your choice of clothing, hairstyle, adornments, and even mannerisms, such as facial expressions, gestures, and the way you walk. By adjusting these along your internal attitude, you can actually display different personas. When you experiment with these variations of self-expression that are not how you ordinarily present yourself, others will react to you depending on the degree in which your persona contrasts with the one that they are most familiar with. Be like the clouds as you try out different forms, stretching your limits at times, willing to move and adjust as necessary. Lift your head up, square your shoulders, and stand tall such that your chest and heart open to the world, and note how this feels. You may feel vulnerable at first, but stay with it. Then let your shoulders fall forward, slightly pull your chest inward an inch or two, and let your head drop a little. Observe how this feels. Experiment with contracting your aura, your energy field, then expand it as far as you comfortably can. By this kind of shape-shifting, you can consciously choose your expression in the world. Just remember who you are at the core. I love this description because I have an experience with that. Like more than a decade ago, I was offered a technique of adjusting my body and like how to walk where my chest is out and I'm chin's up, and it's like you're walking like fully embracing and open to the world, confident, comfortable in who you are. Doing that physically in the beginning, I was so uncomfortable, and I felt like I was just like walking around like with my chest all the way out, you know, like I had so many judgments about myself in that posture, and feeling like I had so many judgments around myself and like for that posture. It was really interesting because I could see how in that I was actually standing in separation from this posture that was like self-confident and self-assured and comfortable and open, but I was like diminished within that. It was like I couldn't comfortably stand in that position, and so that was telling me I couldn't comfortably stand in who I was as confidence, as comfortability, as being open, you know. And it took quite a while for me to get to this point where I can walk with that posture, like and like feeling good about it and feeling like, yeah, this is me, this is who I am. It is really interesting. So yeah, this is another great practice for you to see like what happens if you like put your shoulders back, stick your chest out, like open yourself up to the world, and what is that experience you have in your body when you do that? Try walking in public like that. What is the experience that you have? If you have reactions, if you have judgments, if you have fear that people are looking a certain way at you, like I used to think people would look at me and be like, oh, she's arrogant, she's full of herself. It's like, these are the judgments I actually had towards people who had that presence about them, you know? So it's a really good self-reflective tool to see who you are in relation to this posture of like, I'm here, I'm present, I'm open, I'm confident, you know? So use that to your advantage and to, you know, support yourself to reflect and see who are you. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get in it, obviously, and the more you become it. Because like you're physically shape-shifting, you're physically transforming your body to stand as this presence of, this is who I am, this is who I am here, and I'm open, and I can face the world, and I can be open and embracing the world, you know? So it's a really great practice. So I love that description. Yeah, so I think that's all I have. Oh, and just also that point of like, you know, shape-shifting and transformation in life is a constant change. If you're feeling bored, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like nothing's moving, if you feel like things are stagnant, you know, switch it up on yourself. Get a little crazy. Do a little like something wild, like wear a color you would never wear normally, or like do your hair a way that you would never wear your hair, you know, like push your limits a bit, push your boundaries a bit, and seeing who are you when you step outside of your comfort zone of what you're always doing, how you're always expressing yourself. What happens when you express yourself differently in whatever way that is? You know, it's like, this is how you really get to see who you are and where are the bounds of your comfort zone, because, you know, they say growth happens outside your comfort zone. So push that boundary out a little bit and see who are you, you know. Yeah, so that's a great reading. Hope you guys resonated with this and have some practical support to take into the week with you. And yeah, thanks for walking with, and we'll see you next week.